Most people live under a quiet tyranny, the belief that their emotions are inevitable, that when someone insults them, they must feel anger, that when life goes wrong, they must feel despair. The world happens to them, and they react on impulse, as if pulled by invisible strings. But the Stoics saw this for what it was, an illusion. 2,000 years ago, a man named Epictetus, born a slave, crippled by his master, exiled by an emperor, wrote these words: "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." He was saying something radical. No event has power over your mind unless you grant it. Consider this. You walk into a room, and someone shoots you a look, something between a smirk and a sneer. The old you would have felt it like a spark to dry tinder. What's their problem? Do they think they're better than me? Your pulse quickens. Your jaw tightens. The story spins itself without your permission. But the Stoic asks a different question. What if that look had nothing to do with me? What if they were remembering an argument from this morning, or their back ached, or they simply had a face that rested in contempt? The truth is, you don't know, and yet most of us choose the interpretation that wounds us. This is the heart of Stoicism. You are not a passive recipient of emotion. You are an active participant in its creation. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king who ruled Rome at the height of its power, would end his days with a simple practice. In the quiet of his chambers, he would write in his journal, dissecting his own reactions. Today, I felt anger. Why? Because someone challenged me in front of others. But is their opinion truth or merely noise? Does my worth rise and fall with their words? He wasn't suppressing emotion. He was mastering it. This is the skill no one teaches you. Schools train you to memorize, to obey, to react. But who teaches you to pause? To step between the event and your response and ask, does this deserve my energy? The modern world is built to keep you reactive. Social media algorithms feed on outrage. News cycles thrive on fear. Even the people around you, some knowingly, most not, will test your buttons because a reaction is a form of control. When you flare up, when you crumble, when you seek their approval, you hand them power. But the Stoic refuses to play. Imagine a man standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, but he doesn't fight it. He doesn't curse it. He simply adjusts his posture and waits. That's the Stoic ideal, not indifference, but unshakable choice. There's an old Stoic exercise that few people ever try, yet it holds the key to true emotional mastery. When some insult or annoyance comes your way, pause. Not just for a second, but long enough to ask yourself one critical question. Is this worth trading my peace for? Because that's the hidden transaction in every emotional reaction. Your serenity for their nonsense, your clarity for their chaos, your power for their pettiness. The Roman philosopher Seneca, one of the wealthiest men of his time, slept on a hard bed and practiced poverty despite his riches. Why? Because he understood that comfort makes us soft, but voluntary discomfort makes us resilient. He would deliberately expose himself to minor irritations, rude servants, bad weather, uncomfortable travel. Not because he enjoyed them, but because he wanted to train his mind to remain undisturbed when real problems came. This is the secret of those who remain unshakable. They have already faced their triggers in advance. Think of it like emotional vaccination. By willingly encountering small doses of discomfort, you build immunity to life's larger disturbances. The person who cuts you off in traffic, that's your training. The co-worker who takes credit for your idea, that's your practice. The relative who always knows how to push your buttons, that's your gym. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way." In other words, your triggers aren't obstacles. They're opportunities to practice mastery. The 3 disciplines of the unshakable mind. The discipline of perception. Before reacting, ask, am I seeing this clearly or through the lens of my past wounds? Most conflicts say more about our inner world than the outer one. The discipline of action. Ask, what constructive response aligns with my principles? Not what feels good in the moment, but what serves your long-term peace. The discipline of will. Remind yourself, I control my judgments and therefore my experience. External events may be unavoidable, but your interpretation is always yours to command. The modern world will try to convince you that this approach is cold or unfeeling. Don't believe it. There is nothing more powerful than a person who responds instead of reacts, who acts with intention rather than impulse. This isn't suppression. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. When you master this practice, something remarkable happens. The people who used to trigger you become confused. Their usual tactics stop working. They may even escalate at first, trying harder to get a rise out of you. But when they find no purchase, when their words and actions meet only calm detachment, they have no choice but to change or move on. This is how you win without fighting. This is how you become untouchable. The daily practice of emotional sovereignty. True freedom isn't found in controlling the world around you, but in mastering your inner landscape. The Stoics understood this profound truth, that while we cannot choose what happens to us, we always retain the power to choose our relationship to what happens. Consider the morning ritual of a Stoic. As dawn breaks, they don't reach for their phone to be assaulted by the world's chaos. Instead, they sit in purposeful silence, preparing their mind for the day's inevitable challenges. Today, people will be rude. Plans will go awry. Disappointments will come. By anticipating life's friction points, they immunize themselves against surprise and outrage. This is what Seneca meant when he advised, set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest food, with coarse dress, saying to yourself the while, is this what I used to dread? The art of the inner citadel. The Stoics imagine the mind as an impregnable fortress. External events may rage outside the walls, but inside, tranquility reigns. Building this inner stronghold requires daily maintenance, morning preparation. Before engaging with the world, ask, what potential challenges await me today? How might I respond with wisdom rather than reaction? Midday reflection. In moments of stress, pause and breathe. Ask, is this truly important, or am I manufacturing distress? Evening review. Examine your day without judgment. Where did I respond well? Where did I surrender my peace unnecessarily? Marcus Aurelius exemplified this practice in his Meditations, writing, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly, not because he was cynical, but because he refused to be caught off guard. The paradox of control. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics taught millennia ago. The more we try to control external events, the more anxious we become. The path to peace lies in distinguishing between what we cannot control, other people's actions, world events, the past. What we can control, our judgments, our efforts, our values. Epictetus framed it simply. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion. Outside our power are our body, property, reputation, command. Living the Stoic life today. The test of these principles comes not in philosophical debate, but in daily living. When cut off in traffic, do you rage or relax? When criticized unfairly, do you defend or detach? When plans collapse, do you panic or pivot? The answers reveal your progress on the Stoic path. As you practice, you'll discover an extraordinary truth. Most of what once troubled you was never worth your energy to begin with. The insults that kept you awake, the slights that burned in your chest, the minor inconveniences that ruined your day, they lose their power when examined through the lens of Stoic wisdom, the ultimate freedom. This is the gift of Stoicism, not indifference, but liberation, not emotional suppression, but emotional mastery. When you stop giving away your peace to every passing event, you reclaim something precious, your sovereignty. The world will continue to test you. People will still behave poorly. Life will remain unpredictable. But you'll stand firm, anchored in the understanding that no one can make you feel anything without your consent. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. This is the path of the unshakable. Walk it daily. The unshakable path awaits. The Stoic way is not about denying emotion. It's about reclaiming your right to choose which emotions deserve your energy. Every moment of irritation, every flare of anger, every spike of anxiety is an invitation. to react blindly or respond wisely. The choice is always yours. As you move forward, remember, the world will test you, people will challenge you, and circumstances will shift unexpectedly. But with each breath, you can decide, will you be swept away by the storm, or will you stand firm, anchored in the unshakable calm of your own mind? The greatest power you possess is not control over what happens, but mastery over how you experience it. No one can take that from you unless you let them. So go forth with clarity, courage, and quiet confidence. The path of the Stoic is not one of cold detachment, but profound freedom. The freedom to remain unbroken in a world that tries so hard to shake you. Goodbye for now, and remember, you are not a leaf tossed by the wind. You are the tree, rooted deep, unshakable, and growing stronger with every storm.